Hello and welcome to the Pickle Jar. My name's Josh and in today's video I'm going to teach you how to paint the swords on your Scorpec destroyers. Pickle Jar! Pickle Jar! Miniatures! Excellent! Hi guys and welcome back to another painting tutorial here on the Pickle Jar. Just before we get started with the tutorial, I want to say that if you are enjoying the content we're putting out here on the Pickle Jar, be sure to leave a like and a comment down below, let me know your thoughts. And if you're new, please consider subscribing so you can keep up to date with all the content we release in the future. So I've been painting the Necrons from the Indomitus box set for a while now, and I've finally got round to painting the Scorpec destroyers. These guys are some of the most interesting models in the box, just because they are different. They are not just guys on two legs with a gun or a sword or whatever. They are the big spider guys, and yeah, I think they're some of the most interesting models in the box. The box art for these is really interesting with the swords, with the sort of two-tone going from dark to light, looking like it's like reflecting and different energy and things like that. And I want to have a go at doing something very similar to the box art. The method that I'm about to show you is really simple to do. It's nice and easy. You don't need many paints, and hopefully it'll be simple to follow the tutorial. So without any further ado, here we go. So here he is. This is the Scorpec destroyer that we're going to be working on today, and we're going to be painting both his swords. So first step in the process is to give him a nice base coat of Ulthuan Grey. Now, a lot of people use white when they're working with the Tesseract glow, which is what we're going to be doing later on, but I found that Ulthuan Grey gives a much better coverage over a dark primer. So I've used a black primer, as you can see, and I'm using Ulthuan Grey because it gives a nice easy coverage. You don't have to mess about with loads and loads of layers. All I'm using on this is two thin layers, and you can see how easily it covers, how well it covers, even just on the first layer. So two thin layers so that it's nice and even and smooth and there's no texture on there, and you'll be good to go for the next step. Now that we've got a nice bright base coat down, it's time to start adding some of the green paint to the swords. So the first paint that we're using is the Warp Lightning Contrast Paint. Now you can water this down either with just normal water or you can use the contrast medium. I've tried both. To be honest, I haven't seen much difference really. The contrast medium does help it flow a little bit better, but it works just as well with water, so if you've not got any, don't stress. So you want to water this down a little bit just so that it flows a little bit nicer off the brush and it goes on more like a glaze rather than using contrast paint in the traditional sense. And you need to pay careful attention to what direction you're pulling and pushing the paint in, because wherever your brush stroke ends, that is where the paint will have the most concentration and it will be the darkest. So all you want to do is just glaze this up. You might need to do a couple of layers of this, and then where you want the darker parts of the sword to be, you need to end your brush strokes in those areas, and vice versa, where you want the lightest parts to be, that's where you should be starting your brush strokes and applying less paint. What you want to do is do this a couple of times, layer it up, feather stuff on, let it pool where you want it to be darker, and drag it away from the areas that you want it to be lighter. Let that dry, do it again, just to build this up a little bit. This is going to be our nice solid base colour for the green. Once that coat of Warp Lightning has dried, it's time to take yet another contrast paint, and this time we're using Dark Angel's Green. And you want to water this down or thin this down with medium quite a lot so it is a very light glaze. It's a very dark green, and all we're using this for is just to go over the top of the dark areas that we've applied using the Warp Lightning, just to darken those down ever so slightly, just to help the gradient, because what we're going to do in a moment is go over this all with the Tesseract glow. So we want darker areas, we want lighter areas. Now you can do this same sort of style using black and white for the dark and light areas, but I found that working through from greens already really gives you a bright, vibrant end result once you've used the Tesseract Glow. So you just want to apply this thinly, feather it on, again pulling it where you want it to be darkest and pulling it away from the areas that are the lightest. And all this does is helps give an extra bit of gradient and some extra dark areas on the green that you've just applied. Time for one last bit of preparation before we apply the final coat onto these swords. So we're going back to the Ulthuan Grey that we used for the base coat, and all you want to do is thin this down a little bit so it comes off your brush nice and easy, and you just want to highlight certain edges on the sword. So I'm going down the centre where there's a raised ridge in the centre of the sword, and then on the edges of some of the brighter areas, because when we apply the Tesseract Glow, these areas will look even brighter because obviously they will be in a white/grey colour rather than the green, and it just helps to sort of pre-edge highlight things ready for the Tesseract Glow. Once everything is nice and dry, it's time to finally apply the Tesseract Glow. Now you want to water this down once again just a little bit, either with medium or with water, and then apply it over the top of everything as a thinned down glaze. The immediate transformation of the colour is very obvious, as you can see in the video. It is very important that you make sure that the layers previously applied are nice and dry before you put this on, because otherwise what you'll end up doing is pulling the paint away and then you'll have to redo it, and it's very difficult to do one stage at a time. You would need to redo quite a bit of it, so make sure it's nice and dry before you put this on, and here's the end result. I absolutely love painting bright colour schemes, and it took me a couple of attempts to get this method down to what I wanted it to look like, but now that I've got there, I cannot wait to get some more of these destroyer guys built and get some really nice bright swords into my army just to give it a bit of a focal point, and I'm really happy with the end result. So there you go guys, that is how I paint these swords on my Scorpec destroyers. I hope you found the video useful and are planning on trying out this technique on your own miniatures. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to leave a like and a comment down below, let me know your thoughts. And if you are new, once again, please consider subscribing so you can keep up to date with all the content we release in the future. If you want to catch one of our live streams, we live stream every Wednesday evening at 8 PM British time. And if you want to get involved on picking what we're going to be painting on the live stream, you can find out what the voting options are on our Facebook page, which goes up every Monday. Leave a comment on the post, picking from the options that we put up, and we'll be painting what you guys decide. If you want to see more of me, you can also find me over on the Chilling Wargamers channel every Thursday evening at 8 PM, where I help host the show with Spud and Elston, and we talk about different topics in the painting community. We have guests on, we have painting challenges. The chat is always very lively and very fun. We have a right laugh, so make sure you follow the link below and check us out on Thursdays at 8 PM. If you want to help support the channel, we have our very own merch store. The link is down below in the description, where we sell t-shirts, mugs, hoodies, face masks, whatever you need is all on there, and everything that we make from it goes back into the channel to help us create more content for you guys. If you're not interested in buying any merch, then we also have a link down below where you can donate money directly to the channel. That's all from me. I'll see you next week with another video.